Say what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down! Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. During those times, I accumulated some good stories. I'm going to share one with y'all today. If you like the story, be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and most importantly, hit that notification bell. That way, anytime I drop a story, you will be notified ASAP, and you can hop on it whenever you're ready. Also, I keep telling y'all, I rap. The flow is nothing like Curtis Blow. I'm telling you, I gas. Go to my YouTube playlist, scroll down to gas stations, you will find some of my music there. Also on my playlist, I have my stories organized in different categories. So whatever you're interested in terms of prison, you can find something that you like, man. Check me out. Now let's hop right up into this story. This story takes place around 2014, 2015 in a prison by the name of CMC East. Now, the way CMC East is set up, there are only 2 buildings on each yard. And the buildings kind of reminded me of college dormitories. So when you go in the building, you would go up a couple stairs. It's like a little porchway. You come through that porchway, and it's a podium. Now, there's a hallway that goes down to the left. The hallway is maybe about 8 feet wide, and the cells go down. It's a long hallway. The cells they're starting from 1, and it goes down to 25 on the right-hand side. Then on the left-hand side, they come back up from like 26 all the way to 49. That's considered the low side. Then there's 2 COs that sit at the podium. One to watch the low side, and then one to watch the high side. So then the high side, you come across the little podium area. It's a little area, maybe about 10 feet where the podium sits, and then you go down the high side, and the high side is pretty much the same. So it would start at maybe 50, you go down to maybe cell 77, then on the other side, you come back up from 78 to like 99 or something like that, I think. So anyway, just to give you a little makeup of how the cells, how the cells in the buildings is set up and stuff right there. So anyway, one night, a couple of homies of mine, YG and Wes, I believe they was from Victorville, but I'm not quite sure. They could have been from Barstow. And like I say homies, when I say homies, I'm saying because the area, the city that they was from fell under the IE geographically. They was part of the Inland Empire. Like I keep telling you guys, the Inland Empire is the IE, or the Inland Empire it's made up of 2 counties, Riverside County and San Bernardino County, and all the cities that fall within those 2 counties. So even though they was maybe about 70 miles away from me, of course, and I didn't know them on the streets, when I come to the pen, due to the way the Inland Empire card is structured, they was my homies, right? At this time, I've been locked up probably damn near 20 years, Now these dudes is probably 22, 23, some young cats, maybe 19, 20. I don't know. They was extremely young, right? So anyway, they in the cell chilling. It's damn near time for yard recall and to be locked up for the night. Now at CMC, you have keys to your cell, and so you can leave the door open or whatever. So now they in there just chilling. Now 2 dudes come up in the cell. I can't remember if they was from Compton or they was from Watts. 2 young dudes who they normally, these dudes was friends with, they had a rapport with. So now all of a sudden the dudes run up in the cell and say, "Hey man, give me your cell phone." One of the dudes got a knife. And so he pull out the knife, like, "Give me your cell phone." So now they talking to YG. The homie YG had a cell phone, but he's in there with his homie Wes. So now by these dudes, like I said, having a rapport, they used to be in there, clowning and wrestling and all that. Wes tells me later on that initially he think that these dudes is playing, but once they reach for the cell phone and really go to struggling, and get to like tussling up in there, that's when Wes realized they really not playing. So Wes, it's a pen sitting right there. Wes is sitting on the top bunk. YG is on the bottom bunk. So they on the floor scuffling. So Wes pick up a pen. He stabbed one of them with the pen. So now YG and the dude that's trying to wrestle the cell phone from him, they on the phone, they on the floor tussling and stuff. So eventually, YG snatched the phone and throw the phone on the bed, and they go to beep poop, pop, beep poop. They go to squabbing. So now the cell is kind of small, and so some type of way the dude that YG is fighting with, they make their way out on the tier. So now they out on the tier, and one of those COs who is sitting at the podium, he happens to look down there and see him on the tier like they fighting or whatever, and they really not fighting on the tier, they kind of just like in a stance or whatever. And so the CO hits the alarm, puts the alarm down or whatever. They come down there, they get them two dudes. Now when they come down there, Wes, who's still in the cell with the cell phone, he closes the door, puts the cell phone up. Now, if my recollection serves me right, when the police come down there and get him, they tell the police they was just horse playing, all right, whatever. But the police, handcuff him, walk him across the yard, take him to the program office, I believe, give him a 115 or whatever. So, like I said, this is going on around 9 o'clock at night or 8:45, right around the time we getting ready to lock up, and they're on another tier from the tier that I stay on. We in the same building, just different tiers. Okay, so they bring them back, bring both of the dudes back, send them both to their cell. So now the next morning, of course, we go to breakfast. When we come out to yard, now you got this episode that happened from the previous night. It's in the air, it's bubbling, you know what I'm saying? So now all the homies from IE, I forget exactly how many we may have had on the yard, maybe 15, 20, I definitely remember a few who was there. It was EWAC from Gateway. You had Money from Eastside IE. Now, Money was probably about 58, 59, an older dude, man, but still with the business, You had a few dudes on the yard, And so now we talking about the situation, Of course, YG, whose cell phone it was, he upset, he angry, he mad, you know what I'm saying? So this, this conversation is coming out and stuff. You got the homies gathered over there. We having a little meeting on the bleachers or maybe on the weight pile, wherever we was. I can't remember exactly, So we, we listened to the story or whatever, and like I said, YG is upset, so he want to ride, he want to take off. But now the story is also starting to come out where you got some homies who was on the tier with him, like, oh, YG got into it with those dudes. Them dudes be up there, clowning with each other. They be horse playing. They be in the cell wrestling. They are videotaping on the cell phone and sending it to people and all type of stuff. So, now some people may hear like, damn, them dudes be in the cell wrestling and stuff. Now, keep in mind, man, these dudes are kids, they're 19, they're 20 years old. So they're doing the same thing that any 19 or 20-year-old would be doing, regardless of the fact that they're in the pen. When I first came to jail, me and the homies, we would be in the cell, horse playing, wrestling, doing what kids do, man. You young, you living your life, and you just happen to be living your life in the pen, right? And so, but the one problem about that is, he was in violation as far as his conduct was concerned. That's one reason you shouldn't be in the cell horse playing and, slap boxing, wrestling around with someone else, especially from another car, because then when these type of problems come up and arise, now you have a problem between two individual cars, right? And so for that reason, to keep it 100, some of the homies in the car, in our car, did not feel this was an issue worth taking off over. YG was mad. Like I said, he was adamant. They tried to come play him. They tried to come get his phone, and he wanted to ride. But like I said, you had homies in the car who didn't feel this was worthy of them going to the hole. Especially when YG wasn't passing that cell phone around, letting everybody use it. Some people said they didn't even know he had a cell phone, or I believe some people were saying he had told them that he had a cell phone, but he told him he had to flush it, or he had got rid of it or lost it, something like that. So now it comes out, yeah, you still got the cell phone. You ain't letting homies use the cell phone, but you want us to ride and go to the hole for you. So to keep it 100, you had a lot of homies that wasn't feeling it. My position on the situation was this here. I told him, hey, homie, listen, you really shouldn't have been in there playing, homie. I mean, in that type of situation, the horse playing and making dudes think that they can test you like that sometimes is a consequence of you in there horse playing and getting too friendly with these dudes. He never really actually knew what made him all of a sudden, because like I said, up until that point, they never had no problems. So he didn't never really realize, or knew what made them come up in the cell suddenly tripping like that, when just, 30, 40 minutes before they was friends, cool, kicking it or whatever. So my position was, hey, homie, listen, man, You still got your cell phone. You handled your business. Are you sure you really want to try to stab somebody and, potentially catch a case up in here or whatever, maybe get charged with stabbing somebody. Now you got another 10, 12 years on your sentence, 20 years on your sentence. But he was adamant. I'm going. That's all he kept saying. It's like, I'm ready to go. I'm fit to ride. I'm taking off. I'm going. So, of course, I tried to talk a little logic into the dude. He had his mind set on getting cracking. Some of the homies wasn't with it, like I said. So I told him, homie, listen, man, I advise you, homie, just to let it go. You still got your cell phone. You handled your business, homie. But if you really want to do that, homie, don't trip. He said, no, I'm going. Now, he was just adamant about putting in some work. I said, okay, well, fuck it then, homie. If that's what you really want to do, now, by this time, too, also, we had been outside maybe 2 or 3 hours talking. I forgot to add that while we out there talking, I done went and talked to a dude from Compton who I had a rapport with, an older dude. We used to play dominoes all the time. I was older. I would say at the time, he probably was about, in his mid to late 40s. We used to play dominoes. He was probably about 5, I'm going to say 5'7", maybe about 160 pounds. It's kind of a slimmer dude or whatever, but his position was too also, okay, yeah, they was that. Basically, homie, that's the homies. Them is the homies, they young. And this is sometimes what I don't like about certain dudes. They gonna support their homie regardless. So he was basically just saying, hey, man, them is the homies. Yeah, whatever. I ain't saying nothing to him, whatever. So he was basically supporting somewhat of their actions. So of course, I don't tell you that my homie want to do something to your homies. I'm just telling him, hey, homie, what they did wasn't cool, blah, 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 trying to see the position that he was going to take on it, right? So he pretty much was like, hey, them is the homies, man, woo, woo, woo. So, okay, I go get at the homie. I say, hey, homie, listen, if that's what you really want to do, I'll go in on this next unlock. Me and the homie Money, we had some knives up in there. Money was going to go put a handle on the knives. We was going to come out, bring him 2 knives, one for him, one for his celly. Money was going to get his knife. I had a knife in my cell. And, homie, y'all do your business. Homie, of course, if them other cats don't like it, we step up and we do what we got to do, homie. He adamant, I'm going. He was adamant about that, right? So I said, okay, homie, on this next unlock, because every hour on the hour, we were allowed to go in our cells for 10 or 15 minutes. We could stay if we wanted to go grab something, come back outside or whatever. So I told him, okay, on the next unlock, maybe if it was 11 or 12, whatever time it was, I'll be back out in an hour with these knives. Homie, meet me right here. I got you. He said, all right, cool. So we go into the cell. Me and Money happened to live in the same building on the same tier, which was the first tier. So we go in there, Money goes down there. Money get the knives out. Money's putting the handle on it. I go in there. I get my knife out or whatever. So once the hour passed, I go down to Money. I get the couple of knives he made, I get the couple of knives that he's put the handle on. I got my knife. He got his knife. We supposed to go outside and get cracking and see what happened, man. So now when we go outside, YG and West, they're nowhere to be found. I'm like, damn, where these dudes at? So now I'm outside, man. I'm outside with 3 knives on me. I got a knife for YG, I got a knife for West, and I got my damn knife. Now, keep in mind, we've been outside discussing this situation, grouped up for the last 2 or 3 hours. So the COs definitely have an idea of what's going on, not to mention the night before when they got the 2 dudes and walked them to the program office, they have what's called a log book. And, anytime something, incident or whatever, they log it in the book. So when the next shift comes on, they'll know, of what transpired the shift before. So I'm sure all this stuff is logged in the log book. They see they see cats out there grouping and stuff. So, my whole thing is now, okay, these dudes is nowhere to be found. You was adamant about these knives, talking about I'm going. I come out here with them. Now you nowhere to be found. You got me out here on Front Street. So I'm like, damn, where YG at, man? So I don't know. So I asked somebody, because he happened to be in the same building that I was in, but on a different floor. So I asked one of the homies, hey man, what cell is YG in? So they told me. Now keep in mind also, if you are housed on cell on floor 1, you're not supposed to be on floor 2 or floor 3. You might can go to the gate. It's a gate, like I told you guys, that leads. It's like a little opening that leads either down the hallway on the left side or the low side and down the hallway on the high side. And some officers may let you come to that gate, but you're not really supposed to be down, on the hallways and on the tiers if you're not housed on them. So anyway, I got 3 knives on me, like I say. So this dude ain't nowhere to be found, man. So I go into the building. I go up to his floor, which I believe was the 3rd floor. So I go down to his cell. Man, I get down to his cell. The dude's cell is pitch black. It's pitch black. It's like he got the back window covered up with a blanket. Everything is dark as hell. So I'm saying, hey, I knock on the door. I'm like, YG. He don't say nothing, him or his celly. I say, hey, YG. So I see him. They up in there. Both of them is up in there in the bed, man. So I don't know if them dudes had been up all night doing speed. I don't know what the hell was going on, but I'm steady knocking on the door. I'm like, YG. Them dudes ain't saying nothing. So I'm like, oh, man, this motherfucker talking about, I'm going. You didn't tell me you was going to sleep. He's up in this motherfucker asleep. Now, I'm sitting here out of bounds on someone else's tier that I'm not housed on with 3 knives on me. This dude is trying to send me to the hole. So I hurry up and get up out of there. Pew! I go back downstairs. Money like, what's going on, homie? What's up? I said, man, that dude is up there asleep. Him and his celly is up there asleep. They in the bed. I knocked on the cell door. Ain't nobody answered the door. So I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? So I give money to, actually me and Money go back in the building. We go down to his cell. I take out the 2 knives. I give him back to him. I take my knife back to my cell, put my knife back up. And that was it. You know what I'm saying? And so later that day, we see YG. I'm like, YG, what's up, man? I came to the cell, man. You was out. Oh yeah, my bad. I went up there and, man, I laid down. And I said, okay, well, look, homie, from here on out, whatever you do with that situation, that's on you, homie. You had me out here on Front Street, you know what I'm saying? I could have got pulled over. The police pulled me over to pat me down. Now I'm sitting up in the hole with a knife beef because you was on some BS, you know what I'm saying? And that was one of the situations right there that really made me start evaluating, stepping away from the homies in terms of just always being over loyal, being too ready to ride with them and stuff. Because like I said, at that point in time, man, I had a life sentence. I've been in jail 20 years. By this time, they had started letting lifers out, in order to get in order to get paroled, one of the things you had to do though was remain disciplinary free. So me getting caught with a knife is definitely not it's definitely not in line or conducive with remaining disciplinary free. Of course, they're gonna say, okay, you in prison, you still obviously have a violent mentality because you're running around with knives and stuff like this. And so like I said, that was one of the things that really made me start backing away from the homies, because here's this dude got 2-3 years or whatever, and not to mention this, really, I don't even know this dude. We just met in prison. So it's not like, he has my best interests at heart. So it was just situations like this that eventually made me step away, stop doing the IE thing. I really just started doing the Bannon thing. If you from Bannon, homie, I'm rocking with you. Other than that, I'm not fit to throw my potential chance to gain my freedom away on these young kids now because their mentalities was different. Also, the cat who I went to go holler at from Compton, later on, he was a lifer as well, and later on he stepped away. I guess he pretty much told his homeboys the same thing. Man, I'm trying to get out, man, or whatever. At some point in time, he had a cell phone. He let some of his homies use it. They took his cell phone, did the same thing to him. Took his cell phone, and I think he got into a fight with 1 or 2 of them or something like that. But he never did get his cell phone back. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, sometimes prison like that, man, can be vicious. Sometimes your own homeboys turn on you, or being too loyal, you'll mess around and get yourself in a situation. Like I say all the time, everybody has different levels of dedication to their gang principles or whatever. So anyway, that's just a story right there. Keep y'all sharp, man. Sometimes the people that you think are your homies are really not your homies, and we all believe the things that come out of our homies' mouth sometimes without seeing them in action. Sometimes people are just gonna say anything to try to sound like they with the business. But like I said, he kept talking about I'm going, and all he did was go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? He stayed walking that yard. The dude that tried to say, the dude that tried to take his phone was on the yard. He never did bust a grape. So anyway, you already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to life. I'm out of here.